Hey guys, hope all is fantastic with you. So I wanted to do a long form video on EMFs. I did a video in the shorts that I hadn't posted yet, but I will post. But I want to get into this because this is so important. And I don't like to use the word protection, but I like to use the word preparation, to be prepared for those EMFs, meaning electromagnetic frequencies that you're going to come into. So let's start off by basically explaining how these show up in our lives and how they affect us. And the truth is, it's in everything. Because everything is energy, everything carries a frequency, no matter what it is. The necklace I'm wearing, the sweater I'm wearing, the hat, the bracelets, the phone, the microphone I'm using, everything carries a frequency with it. And sometimes that's going to be a high vibrational frequency, and then at other times it's going to be a lower vibrational frequency, and then it can fall in the middle. You never know. But what's happened here, especially in the age of technology, is we've been exposed to a lot of different low vibrational frequency stuff. And how do we know this? We know this because we walk into these frequencies every single day. Now, this can be anything. It can be anyone. Have you ever been to the grocery store or in any type of environment where you walk in and all of a sudden it feels like somebody just hits you with a bat, or maybe not even with a bat, but somebody just kind of shook you up a bit and you feel dizzy or you feel disoriented a little bit. You feel like, wait a minute, I came in here feeling at peace. Now I'm feeling like, oh crap, like I got anxiety, right? This is real stuff. This can happen. The opposite can happen, right? You can walk into a spiritual arena. I've done this multiple times where I walk into a place of spiritual knowledge and worship and understanding, church, whatever it is. And immediately I walk in that place and I feel the energy, the frequency of peace come over my body, the frequency of love, right? So it's not just those frequencies that are lower that we come into contact with, but we also have the opportunity to come into higher frequency concepts, and all that depends on is where you set your mind to. But today's video is made for the sake of helping you to prepare when you do come into those lower frequencies, those lower vibrational frequencies. And so the reality is we're going to experience them at least on some level. We can somewhat control this to a degree, but the thing is we're gonna encounter lower EMFs, lower electromagnetic frequencies. And so, like I said, we have to be prepared. And if we're prepared for it, they won't affect us as much. So if you see a lot of my videos, you see I wear a lot of stones. You see I wear a lot of stones on my bracelet. And I also have this pendant that's inside of my shirt that actually is I don't want to say a force field or a shield, but it repels any frequency that does not resonate with my highest frequency. And let me tell you why that is the way that it is. One, it's programmed to, not programmed, but the energy that it's imbued with, it is meant, its defined purpose is meant to repel any type of lower vibrational frequencies, right? And so if I ever walk into a space with someone or something and there's lower frequencies coming at me, what will happen is that stone, right, that I wear around my neck will repel those energies and keep those energies from affecting my energy. So I can still walk into a place that has a lower vibrational environment and still be a high vibe individual. And so I discovered this a few years back. We went as far as cutting off the Wi-Fi at night, because Wi-Fi is notoriously known for creating these EMFs throughout the house that can make you feel anxious, right? There's people walking around that are being affected by the machinery outside, the fiber optics of the internet underground now, not just up in the air or the towers, but underground. You might have heard about the 5G stories where they put up 5G towers and there's just crime after crime after crime, or the crime just goes up per se, right? So all these things are an example of EMFs. So we want to be prepared. And so how do we prepare for these? We prepare for these by, like I said, you can wear stones. This is called selenite. You might be familiar with this. I will brush my energy field. I tell you multiple times a day, especially when I get in the car, when I walk into a place, whatever it may be, I just always do that. Because if I come out a bit, that's my emotional energy. On my body is my physical energy. So I'll do things like tapping and shaking and things of the sort. But I also make sure that I brush every part of my energy whenever I come into some lower EMFs. And I'm telling you, it helps because I realize that I'm not as drained as I once was before I started doing this stuff. So that's selenite. This is quartz, also known as rose quartz. I'll keep this in my pocket because once again, this is another stone that's literally meant to cancel out any type. Its definite purpose is meant to cancel out any type of energies that do not resonate with your highest frequency. Keep in mind too, I also set the intention, right? I say to myself, dearest God in me, dear subconscious mind, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Dear subconscious mind, thank you for allowing me to only come into contact with energies that are resonant with my highest frequency. And I'll say that in the morning before I wake up. And I find that intention allows me to encounter more high energy than I do lower energy. Okay. So another thing is the stones. And I mean, these things are so inexpensive. Like I think I got a bag of quartz one time from Earthbound Trading Company. It's a store in the mall. It's a spiritual store in the mall, like $14.95. And I got like 12 or 13 of those rose quartz stones. And this right here was just like $2. And it's just so powerful. It's worth every penny, right? Another thing you can do is, so I created a method called the Timberwolf method, which is energy cultivation, Tai Chi, Qigong, all brought into one with my own personal soulful take on it. And the reason I started that is because I noticed that throughout the day, my energy was waning. And the reason behind that is because our body takes on, our energy bodies take on so much outside energy. We move into what we call psychic trails. Every time something or someone is in a space, if you could see it with an infrared light, you'd be able to see the psychic trail that they've left. Now, if that's a lower vibration, it's going to affect you. And then you're going to pick it up and walk right into it because we are all connected. We're all just energetic beings, right? So what I wind up doing is I wind up doing the energy medicine, the Qigong, basically the Timberwolf method. And what I find myself is every time I feel slightly off, right? Setting the intention helps, but there's times where you just can't, you're in a crowd, right? You're I went to a hockey game recently and I was surrounded by 20,000 different people, different energies, in addition to the machinery and the technology and the flashing lights and everything. As soon as I got out of there, I started shaking, right? I started shaking out the energy that I had incurred being in that environment. I started, doing that Qigong, doing that Tai Chi. And it was once thought for myself that, I only need to do this in the morning, right? I only need to do this at night. No, I find myself doing it throughout the day. Also going into nature, right? After I've experienced a lot of just not heavy per se, but repetitive, lower vibrational EMFs. I find myself going into nature to kind of wash, my body of it. Taking a shower is another way to help. But the reality is all these things aid, but the number one thing you can do is just be aware of them. And the more you're aware of them, the more you find you're not jumping in to lower vibrations and even being affected by them as much. Because if you're prepared for it, it's a perfect example. Imagine you facing somebody and you can see them and you're in a fight and they punch you. It hurts, but it wouldn't hurt as much as if you were just walking along and all of a sudden somebody jumped out and punched you, or jumped out, punched you, and you didn't even notice, and it hit you, it would hurt a whole lot more, right? So we want to be prepared for these things. Like I said, preparation as opposed to protection. We want to be prepared for these things with the stones, with the necklaces, with the bracelets, with the energy medicine, the Timberwolf method, with the intentions, right? Setting the mind, with the anything you can do. And there's a number of creative things you can do in order to allow yourself to be in a space where you can experience living a high vibrational life. And that's the reality. I mean, that's not just the reality, that's the choice that we want to make. We want to live a high vibrational life no matter what, and we don't want things to come into our environments that lower us, because here's the thing: low vibration, low outcomes. High vibration, high frequency, high outcomes, right? Better outcomes, favorable outcomes. So we want to keep that energy up as high as possible. So I just wanted to do a long form video and touch on this. Just keep in mind about it. Like, doesn't have to do anything drastic, but just know that these energies are out there and we're encountering them on an everyday basis. And it's pivotal that we take care of our own energy so we can show up and be the very best that we can be. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. May the peace, love, and blessings in God and me honor the peace, love, and blessings in God and you. We will talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.